Every year, Iowans young and old from big cities and small farms donate dollars and hours to help strangers on the other side of the globe. And we trust it's helping. But we boarded the longest nonstop flight of any U.S. airline, 17 hours each way, to Johannesburg, South Africa, and then headed out to remote tribal villages not far from Botswana and Mozambique for a week-long quest to find the faces depending on Iowa. If the tribal crowds didn't do it, it was the faces that elicit fear. A realization.
Wow, this is Africa. We're not in the United States anymore.
A land where elephants roam free.
Always be very careful. Look, listen, smell.
Making Iowans freeze while their cannons fire.
There's something really kind of exciting and special about Africa.
Specifically, South Africa.
It is a beautiful country.
Beauty in its creatures and beauty in its simplicity. Like the donkey carts shuttling kids to the party.
A year ago, this was just open field.
A party being thrown by an Iowa doctor.
A white guy from America.
Who's marking a milestone. Another feeding center built by Iowans for African kids. Like 12-year-old Jacqueline.
I'm living with my mother, my brother, my sister, and my young sister.
Who'd all go hungry without Iowa.
It changed my life very much, and they gave me food and everything I need.
Our vision is by a year, at most 2 years, we'll be feeding 10,000 children every day using the rice packets that many Iowans have worked at Hy-Vee Hall and schools and churches all over the state packaging.
That's 10,000 children fed across this country every day. In this one spot, on this one Saturday, the cooks in the kitchen were planning on 1,000. Which is why they put a farmer from Boone to work, slicing open the very packages he sealed.
When we package this stuff in Des Moines or Iowa, wherever we are, it's kind of a hypothetical thing. I mean, we have this picture that somebody's given us about where it goes. But to actually come and to see the people and to understand that there's kids here today, that this is the only food that they'll get today, you see, that's impressionable.
For hours they cooked, while those donkey carts kept rolling in with the kids who simply wanted to play and eat. Only it wasn't 1,000 that showed up, it was 1,500, and that created a big problem. When the plates ran out, they grabbed cups.
There's hungry kids, and we're just trying to get out as much food out as possible.
As quickly as possible, because this sea of kids was waiting for their only nutritious meal of the day.
This puts a huge perspective on it.
And this is just one day in one feeding center. But on this day, there was another milestone.
Now, it's not every day that somebody celebrates a 20 millionth meal.
20 million meals in 5 years, from Iowa to the world. That 20 millionth one traveled to the African village that Urbandale doctor now calls home.
I had a great job, I made a lot of money, and I enjoyed my job.
Dr. Jim Blessman used to work for Mercy Medical Center.
I ran their pain center for 25 years.
Until 8 years ago, when he says God called him to Africa.
Father, we just come to you and we thank you. All my physician peers thought I had gone crazy, and they were very much, they thought I was extremely weird.
After he came to Africa, he really, really wanted me to come, and I just did not want to come. I was really stubborn, and finally I said okay, just to get him off my back.
But within months, the couple used their Iowa connections to start an African transformation. Iowa manufacturers got on board. So did churches and medical schools, and, a key for the future, farmers.
Bringing rice from Iowa is a short-term answer. That is not the long-term answer.
For that, check out what surrounds those kids eating Iowa's meals. A field of corn, planted back in November. Spring here in the Southern Hemisphere.
This year they see our yields and they say, how do you do that? We say, come back and we'll teach you.
We have just started it. It's still in its infancy, and it is touching the community a lot.
Yohani's an African agronomist determined to make his plot using Iowa techniques, the neighborhood model.
So they really like it, and many people are asking, how can we do it? Can we also do it? So many questions.
And Iowans are feeding them the answers about their gardens and more.
So they could raise a few chickens and again, feed themselves and even sell some.
But education takes time. For now, the immediate help stamped Des Moines fills semi-sized containers and entire warehouses.
That is real, you know, knowing that I know I was there on that day.
When Iowans filled these boxes.
And now it just brings it to fruition that we can see exactly what we did.
Saving the lives of adorable orphans whose parents died from AIDS.
90% of the food that they eat is from Iowa.
And teenagers who play barefoot soccer while their day's only meal cooks over an open flame.
No, they have not enough to eat because sometimes there's no money to buy some food.
Some might look at this land of safaris as just a tourist stop filled with Kodak moments. To the Africans receiving this humanitarian effort from Iowa,
I think it's massive. I sometimes wonder if the people in Iowa realize what the difference this makes in Africa. Remember, when you look at South Africa through the TV, you look and you think, oh, you know what? South Africa is okay. We're not. There's many children that still go to bed without food. It is massive. It's not just something that, you know, you can take just by the way and it has happened. It is a huge impact that this has made in our country.
Crocodile.
Visit the heart of Africa's wilderness, and you expect to come face to neck with a giraffe.
The only mammal without vocal cord.
Or a wildebeest along the road. You don't expect remote tribal leaders to openly gush over your home state.
So what you are doing is a very great, good job.
I've never been to Iowa, but whenever I get there, I want to hug them and say thank you.
I love the Americans from Iowa, Des Moines. I love you so much.
Why the love from under a lonely tree in a third world village?
I think it took us about 30 minutes over washboard roads to get here.
Good, okay.
It starts with the amateur optometrists.
Don't focus on the glasses. You want to focus on talking to them, building a little relationship with them. Keep your eyes open big.
Getting a crash course in vision from an Iowa MD.
And hello, I'm Dr. Blessman.
A retired pain specialist who still can't speak the local language, Sepedi.
I'm 67.
Despite living here most of a decade.
Tell her I think we can help her.
They're yours.
I have a problem with my eyes.
In this village where unemployment is 80% and food is scarce, a cheap $5 pair of glasses at a prescription close to correct.
When they see a smile, I think, bingo, I think we found it.
Can give these worn faces the gift of sight and a shot.
Thanks, Lena.
Thank you.
At a trade like sewing.
I think that some American loves us, and I think this is a very nice thing.
And while they're here,
they don't come until it's really, really bad.
The locals who live in this country with more people with AIDS than anywhere else on the planet can get tested and helped by wide-eyed medical students from Des Moines University.
The first patient we saw when we arrived was like a 40-year-old female that had HIV, tuberculosis, and hepatitis B. And I've never seen any of that.
Yeah, it's dramatic. Not as good.
Every month, aspiring doctors from Iowa rotate in, seeing patients in a program started by the university's former president, who's now our governor.
I think Governor Branstad came over here and Dr. Blessman and him kind of said this is an experience for our students that they're not going to get anywhere else. And it's true.
They have to stand the night before just to be seen in the morning.
But lives threatened by disease are getting Iowa care, while others are getting Iowa ingenuity.
The earth here in Africa is very high percent clay.
Across the street from all too common shanties is a machine getting a workout.
Well, the neat factor is it's from Pella, Iowa.
Somewhere in that dust, you'll see the name Vermeer, the Iowa equipment manufacturer that decided dirt could become brick.
So we need the earth, and then we need about 6% Portland cement, a little bit of moisture.
When locals play its levers like organ pedals, hydraulics compress the earth, spitting out 4 bricks every minute. Enough to build a family a sturdy shelter in days, because an Iowa company told its engineers, try.
It's kind of some of their way to give back to the community and the world. I don't think they expect to make a huge profit on these machines.
Neither did Des Moines architect Doug Sharp, who donated his design for simple abodes constructed to house orphans and their teachers.
They're doing a wonderful job here in South Africa, especially here where I stay.
And Iowa's impact keeps growing. Just at Christmas time, hundreds of churches and civic groups from Osceola to Algona filled shoeboxes with toys and toiletries. It's a program called Operation Christmas Child. 100,000 of those shoeboxes are clearing customs right now in Johannesburg. Within weeks, they'll be handed out to kids like these. The same ones already playing soccer with balls that scream, "Come and go," a third of the way around the planet from the nearest Iowa-based convenience store.
Our reputation is widespread now, and that means we are making a difference.
And that's in addition to the 2 million South African children our state is feeding this year alone.
We don't want to become just a social agency, so whenever we're involved with helping feed the children, we require that their hearts and minds are also enriched.
I just want to thank everyone in Iowa.
You know, seeing that we are actually affecting these lives, me as an Iowan, I'm one Iowa girl here helping these South African people. It's pretty amazing.
The children are growing, they're thinking better, they're healthier.
And we have people who are counting on us. You know, we're really in for the long haul.
We're better together.
One child at a time, one day at a time, and we will make a difference.